Hey guys, it's Lost. I am recording this kind of as a intro for this video. This is the Everfree Northwest LGBT panel footage. I'm finally going through it, and I'm finally putting it all together along with some other stuff that I've been wanting to upload. But the reason why it's going up on Lost Extras is because unfortunately, halfway through the panel, my camera died. So obviously, it's not complete enough to put on my main channel. I would normally be putting this on there, but I'm gonna put this right here because if you guys want to enjoy it, you can. It's about a good 30 minutes of footage that you guys can enjoy at least. And there's, it was a really nice panel. I want to express my gratitude towards the Everfree con staff that I got Magpie and I even got the opportunity to host this panel. And I'm hoping that next year and maybe at other conventions too that I will be able to hold other LGBT panels or LGBTQ. You know what I'm talking about. But yes, hopefully you guys enjoy this. And it's like I said, it's incomplete, so it will cut off. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. Welcome to the LGBTQ in the fandom panel.
XYZ.
I'm the Lost narrator, and this lovely lady is my girlfriend Magpie Pony.
Hi. Hey, you're the Lost narrator?
Yes, I am Lost narrator.
Big fan of yours.
Oh, thank you.
That realization moment.
What we're known for in the fandom, I do fanfic readings. I do voice acting on my YouTube channel. YouTube, Lost narrator, whatever. But I do fanfic readings. Huh? I
You have to have the shameless plug.
Gotta have the shameless plug.
Yay, does that mean I get one too?
Yeah, you do. You get one.
Okay.
So, I do fanfic readings, comic dubs, I do voice acting. I'm known within the fandom for my Rainbow Dash and Applejack voices. I've done fan animations, what other crazy little things? I got really sick the last few months ago. That was a thing. I had an ovarian cyst the size of a basketball.
And I named it.
Oh, she named it. She named it.
It was Sweet Apple Tracy.
Yep. There was that.
I think you went in with a laser scalpel, right?
I don't know, but it came out clean. Or the scar's really nice. So I'm assuming they went in with that.
Well, I was just being facetious.
Okay.
You went with it at a
I'm
distance,
assuming.
is what it is.
Because the scar looks nice. So I was just like, oh, okay. The scar looks nice. What? Compared to other scars,
You need a really bitchin' scar story.
I know. I do. And I got it now. I've got a really
You do.
story. God.
And you have a name for it. That's the best part.
But those are pretty much the things that I'm known for in the fandom. And then you, what are you known for?
I am Magpie Pony. I write and direct and art and produce and all fun stuff for Pinky Tales and Princess Trixie Sparkle mostly. I'm a Pinkie Pie VA. I do lots of songs. I'm a singer, or at least, I try.
Yeah.
But my content is all very, kid-friendly, very fun. I'm all about comedy. In fact, that's why we're dressed the way we are. I wrote Pinky Tells, which is Pinkie Pie telling famous fairy tales to the Cake Twins using herself and her friends. And we're dressed up like the princesses from Goldie Chaos and the Three Princesses. So she's Glooma, and I'm Shippins. I ship it. Anyway, so we're kind of really odd, different ends of the spectrum.
I was gonna say, because within the fandom, when I first started in the fandom, because I think I started before you.
Oh yeah.
I came in and I was coming out of the creepypasta fandom, and if you don't know what creepypastas are, they're pretty much like ghost stories on the internet. Because I've had somebody ask me, "What's a creepypasta?" I'm like, "Oh,
It's
and you're
really
at this
bad
con."
spaghetti.
I was gonna say, you're at this con and you're on the internet. No. But yeah, I came from the creepypasta like gaming community, and I came into the fandom, and there weren't that many fanfic readers. That was one of the big things when I first started. There wasn't that many fanfic readers. There were a few, a smattering, but nobody was doing it like with sound effects and music, and I was like, I'm gonna do it like that. And then I was like, but I'm gonna do all the stories that I want to do, which were grimdarks and rom-coms. That was probably one of the biggest things, was that when I first started, a lot of the female and female pairing stories were very inappropriate, and I didn't like that. So I wanted, there was only me and I think one other fanfic reader, Obab Scribbler.
She's the other another fanfic writer, fanfic reader in the community, who was doing some that were appropriate, but not a lot. And I was like, well, I'm gonna get started. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. But that was like, I come from the grimdark aspects, and she comes from the kid-friendly, all-appropriate, squeaky clean content.
It's not squeaky clean.
Compared to mine.
I put in a couple of sexual intention jokes that go chaos.
It's like, it's the adult jokes. So it's like when you go see like Shrek or like a Disney movie and you see like an adult joke, you're like, yeah, it's for the adults.
That
It's compensating for something.
But yeah, within the fandom though, I started in this fandom. I was in a really, really, really bad relationship with my ex, and it was not a fun time, and it was probably one of the first real relationships I had, because I went a long time of not wanting to date anybody because I was so uncomfortable with myself, and then I met her on a dating website, and it was a toxic relationship. And then the fandom started up around 2010, and I met her in 2010, but I started getting into the fandom around late 2012 into 2013. That's when I was starting to get notice of it. And I remembered we were watching a lot of MLP stuff together, and she would constantly critique like all the things in the show and everything. She wasn't really that supportive of it. But I was like, I really like this show. I really, really like it. It was just like the fact that it was a female-centric cast. It didn't matter like any of the things. All that mattered was your cutie mark. That was it. That's the whole point of the show. It was like, what's your cutie mark? What's your little special talent? None of that other stuff matters. And I loved it. And then that's when I started getting into the fandom stuff. And I found all the grimdark, creepy stuff first. But I started doing fanfic readings, and it was the way that there's a lot of fanfics. Fanfics is probably one of the big things we're going to be bringing up at this. Because fanfiction, there are several different types, but the two types that I was finding was that people would take the characters, the main six, and they would try to write really realistic relationships. And they couldn't do it. Bless their little hearts, they meant well, but they couldn't do it. But then there were other authors, and those were the stories that I wanted to read, that would take stories of like either the main six or the background ponies or whoever have you, and create a realistic relationship within just that story alone. And I thought, this is what a relationship is supposed to be. And I wanted to do readings of them, and I wanted to share them with people. And that was one of the biggest driving things that really got me into the fandom. And it wasn't even like when I started picking up steam, because people are like, oh, you're the last narrator, and I'm like, the people were not really judging about sexual orientation. None of that. Like, everybody that I was meeting up to this point was just like, oh, you're cool. You're the chick that reads those stories like Cupcakes and Rainbow Factory and all the ponies are dying. That's what I was becoming.
She killed me twice.
I killed her twice. But those are the things that I was getting known for. And then it was when we started dating. I met her through the fandom. That was one of the lovely things about it, is that she already had been doing Princess Trixie Sparkle, and I was doing my own content. And we met through a mutual friend, and I was just like, oh, okay. Like, there's that Magpie Pony chick. Okay, cool, she's cool. Like, I should get to know her. But what were you doing, though?
Okay, so for Pony, right?
Oh.
Back in the day, I started around late 2013, I believe. And I found Pony because I used to be a nanny. And my nanny kids were watching Netflix, and they had on A Canterlot Wedding Part 2. And so I saw the Chrysalis part and was like, this is a kid show? like that villain is pretty legit. So I went home and marathoned all of them, 1 through 3.
I think all of us have that story of oh, you found an episode, you're like, I'm gonna marathon them all on Netflix. We're done.
And at first it was my nanny kids and I had a little boy and 2 little girls, and we would just marathon Pony all the time, and then they would ask me to have them guess what character I was. And so that's how I kind of figured out that I could do voices, because they were like, well, you're Pinkie Pie, or be Twilight, or I can't Twilight, by the way. No, that's not happening. But, and so I saw, I don't know how many people are familiar, I saw, there were audio dramas, and I found Bride of Discord. I don't know if any of you know what that is. It's a fanfic turned into an audio drama, and I had never even thought that could be a thing. I was like, I usually only heard of animations, and then like reading a story and having one image. It dawned on me that I could like kind of combine them, do more art and songs, and just turn it into a bigger scale production. So I wrote a story that was a comedy adventure, because I wanted to kind of stay away from romance. I felt like the fandom was flooded with romance stories.
Oh, there's so many.
So I was like, I want to tell a good story without it. But so that's kind of how I got started into Pony. I found her through that friend, and that friend was like, so you do Pinkie Pie, right? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, how do you feel about dying? I was like, how do I die? Well, you're gonna be cut up and have butterflies put in your stomach. How do you feel about that? I can do that. So that's how I met her.
And then it was funny because, like, a lot of our friends knew. Like, because we work with a lot of different people because of all the different voices we have to put together for our production. So a lot of people knew, but we didn't really tell the fandom until like a year later. It was like we put up that girlfriend tag podcast, because I was like, I always wanted to do a girlfriend tag. I see people on YouTube. I'm like, oh, I want to do that. So we did one, and it ended up an hour because we couldn't shut up. But it was the idea that it wasn't until I put that podcast out that I started getting messages from so many fans that didn't realize that either I was gay, or that I, any of that. Like, because to be honest, like, that was just something that in my mind, even now, I'm kind of like, I am a lesbian. But that doesn't, that's it. It's not a big deal. Like, it shouldn't be a big deal. That's the big thing, is that none of that should even be a big deal. But I got so many messages, good and bad, but mostly good, of fans telling me, thank you for telling me this. Thank you for being that example that I needed. Thank you, because a lot of them were like, I was able to come up to my parents because of that, or things like that. And I was just like,
That's so awesome.
yeah. And and that's the biggest reason why, like, when Everfree was like, oh, you guys got to come up with panel ideas. I was like, let's do an LGBT one. Let's just do it. Forget it, But it was just the idea that, I guess, within the fandom itself, I love the fact that this fandom is so welcoming. I love the fact that you can pretty much come into a convention like this and just be yourself. It's that. Like it's here, it doesn't matter. None of that matters.
Well, you don't have to make it a thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't have to make it a thing. And that's why, like, when a lot of the fans are coming up to me, like, another thing I'm known for on my channel is bloopers. And lots and lots of bloopers. And
Really good one.
Oh, really good ones. But there was a blooper where it was, she had said that she was I don't remember what it was.
Lost her girlfriend.
Yeah, lost says to her girlfriend, like, you were making fun of me in the blooper.
Yeah, I was.
And I posted on, because I have two channels. I have the main channel and my extras channel where I have put everything
Gosh,
else.
what's wrong with you?
I know.
More than one channel.
I
don't do that.
I know. But I posted the blooper on the main channel, where I always do, because those are my main staples. And a lot of people were like, wait, Lost, you're gay? Like, wait, they were losing their minds about it. And I was just like, none of this matters.
Well, it matters to people.
It matters to people.
There are people that don't have representation.
I know.
So if you see representation in a group that you feel safe in.
That's the good thing. But the problem was that with a lot of those comments, they weren't those ones. They were the, why didn't you tell me sooner? Why haven't I had someone tell me that. Why didn't you tell me sooner? I was just like, I didn't know it was my responsibility to even say that.
You don't walk up and you're like, hi, I'm lesbian.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hi, I'm lost and I'm gay. Like, I love how they're coming in at that. I like how we have people coming in right now. It's like, hi, because hi, I'm lost and I'm gay.
There are some people you walk But the people, I have what I call gay face. So if you're a mile down the street and I'm walking to the coffee shop and you're like, oh, hey girl. Right?
I know
So
that.
I don't have to tell anybody. So then whenever people are like, wait, you're gay? And I'm like, are you stupid? But then my husband all the time, whenever people don't know that I exist, they get the shock moment. He had a coworker that saw us walking in Target, and she goes, oh my god, that is the ugliest fucking woman. Oh my god, that man is beautiful. She had no idea he was gay. I'm glad one of us passes.
Oh my gosh. But it's, those are the comments I was getting. When they had realized that was what the thing was. And the funny thing is that even before then, I was already doing lots of readings of them, like, of same-sex couples.
Yeah.
Tons of readings of those. Like, bloopers, comic dubs, and readings of, that was the thing. I wanted people to feel like it's okay. It does, like, because let's be honest, in other fandoms, it's always the straight pairings. There are lots and lots and lots of ships of hetero couples. But within this fandom, we kind of latch on, or at least I know the shippers, they latch on to the...
I'm a shipper.
I'm a shipper too. But they ship the main six because it's a mostly female cast. So it's like, oh, okay, this is cool, I like this. And that's what really drove me into all of that.
Well, what's nice about ponies, in my opinion, too, is that they, like you said, it exemplifies the cutie mark. It's their personality, and I know that's usually, oh, she has a great personality. No, but like, and you see those traits and those characteristics, and that's where you're like, this character would match with this character, regardless of gender. It's like those things mesh well, and I think that no matter where you stand, morally or otherwise, it's, for some reason, for Pony, it's okay to have that opinion. It's okay to say Rara Jack OTP, that's hers. Rainbow Pie OTP. Because it's not just that they're all mostly females, but the characterization, because the only established ships in the show are the already married couples, or I guess soon to be in that one case, but
Yeah.
The Lyra and Bonbon like the Slice of Life episode.
Yes.
Best friends. Like,
No.
And the way they're acting, you're like, no.
They've been best friends since college.
I was gonna say, really, best friend. All right, okay.
They're roommates.
And of course, that was intentionally done by the directors and the writers, literally as a throw out to the fans.
oh yes.
Well, it's the same thing with Vinyl and Octavia. They're living
Exactly.
together, and I'm just like, oh,
they're
dang. And it was just like, I know this is weird, but like seeing that Slice of Life, seeing that episode, and seeing those things, I was like, oh, yes, we're taking some good steps forward. I mean, granted, we're not like Steven Universe status, but we're doing some good stuff here. You know? Like, it's just.
Well, we do have Stephen Magnet.
I know we do. I love Stephen Magnet.
It's great, but Big Mac's mine. She's my girlfriend, but Big Mac's mine.
Ah, you're such a butt.
Sorry, honey, I've already kind of.
Oh, look at that!
He hugged me today, so I got pictures.
All the tears.
And he signed my phone. And there was the bejeweled Princess Mac in the auction. And
We're gonna have some words.
I was not allowed to talk about
Oh my god.
Universe. He had that shirt on, that red shirt.
Yeah.
Guys, I called him Peter Nooniverse, and that's what he wrote him.
Oh, that's awesome!
Now you got 3 people to play with.
I don't know, there's too much competition.
I'll tag in the gothic looking one. Oh, because I'm too bubbly to fight. No.
So, but like, within the fandom though, you came out around the time.
Yeah, do you want me to give
Yeah, I was gonna say
my
you
story?
might.
Okay, so it's not all fun and games. Okay, so I live in Utah.
Girl.
That was the best reaction.
I
Like,
can't.
95% of the room understood when I said that fact alone. For the last 5%, I was raised Mormon.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
That's like the biggest Mormon no-no on the planet.
Oh.
I have two coworkers who, actually both were raised Mormon. And mind you, these are really cool people. They are not in any way, shape, have an issue with LGBT and all that.
Yeah.
But they're both from Utah as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so just hearing about the stuff they talk about, I kind of feel I understand a lot.
It's, side note, really funny, the liquor stores in Utah, they treat it like weed stores where it's like state run and you have to go in and everything's like still in cardboard and it's like you have to give your ID like 5 times. She gets so nervous.
I'm just like, I feel like I'm doing something wrong in the store. I'm just like, I'm drinking my alcohol.
No, but so yeah, I was raised Mormon and my family was very devout. Yeah. So and I'm trying to figure out what angle to come at this. I don't want to say anything bad against the Mormon thing because there's a lot of, you know, and this is any faith in general. There's a lot of really good, you know, moral values you can take away from something, especially when they teach, you know, to be happy, to be kind, to be, and the one thing though that I felt was lacking in my life personally was tolerance. It just, change and differences were not very well received. And so Pony was my escape from what I felt like I needed to be at the time. I felt, you know, and the family I nannied for was also Mormon. So I was literally immersed in a world where I didn't belong. And, but I couldn't say anything. I couldn't tell, you know, anyone. And here I am, this woman in her 20s, hearing about all these, you know, teenagers who have the strength and the courage to come out. And I'm sitting here like, yeah, but I'm also taking care of kids. And I don't want the families, the parents to look at me differently, you know, or to have an issue with that. And so it's difficult. But when I found her, and the fandom in general, I made sure that my content could be accessible to everyone. That's why it's so kid friendly, because my nanny kids would watch it, and so everything I put there, I was like, can my kids watch this? You know, so I haven't been able to come out on my own channel because I still kind of, I'm not ashamed, I'm not, but it's I still live in that Utah bubble, so I'm almost, it's not always happy sunshine, but I definitely feel so at home in the fandom, and so, you know.
Well, that's also why my channel comes into play, because like that's the difference between our audiences. She's got all those kids, like just all the kids watch her, and then I'll hit like all the adults and all the teenagers, and it's smattering of kids that I'm just like, no, you shouldn't be watching this. Like, no. Why are you on my channel? But most of the time though, I don't have issues like that. So like, yeah, my fans know that, you know, and also too, like if a fan does ask you, you don't hide it. No,
of course.
No, it's not even like anything like, oh, we're hiding it. No, it's not that. It's just a matter of like like with me, like it was the same thing with me. Like when I put it on my channel on the blooper, it was a very casual thing. I just put it on the blooper. I didn't even think anything of it, and people were just like, oh, Lost, you're gay. Oh my gosh. And I was just like, I already had said several times that I was. I had said in like, because I had done like with my fans, I always interact with them. I try to, like, so I do Q&As, and I do things like that, like live streams, and I had several places I had said it already, and even on Twitter.
It's like, because she's so wanted. Like,
it wasn't even like, actually, to be honest, I had a lot of male fans. They were like, oh, no. And I was like, well, sorry. But like, it was just, I didn't make a big deal out of it, and then everybody kind of hit me all at once, and I think that day with that blooper, I lost at least like 100 to 150 subs. People unsubscribed to me because of that, just for that one little blooper, and I was just like,
but then you gained
Oh, I gained so
Yeah, you
many.
gained-
I gained so
Yeah.
many when people realized that, and I was just like, it.
So it's been really therapeutic and nice for me to have her channel and to read those comments, because there's comments to me as well
Oh, yeah.
where it's like, oh my gosh, like Magpie Pony is a lesbian, like, and then they're just so accepting of that, and it's kind of like I live vicariously through her channel, because I don't nanny anymore, but
We don't want to hurt them.
no.
It's that. It really comes down to that.
So I don't see it necessarily as a shame thing.
No, it's not shame because, well, like I said, if someone asks you, you don't. You answer
No,
them.
no, of course.
The same thing with me. If someone asks me, I'm not gonna hide it.
Yeah.
It's like, why would I hide it?
Well, there's a lot of conversations about privilege.
Yeah.
I had this conversation with my husband. Gay privilege, right? I work in the salon atmosphere. I can wear makeup. I have acrylic nails. I can wear heels. And then cis straight people are like, "Are you trans?" And I'm like, "I don't have a label. My name's Randall, and I want her to be tall today."
That is the white mentality.
And they're like,
Go.
"You have nails. Did you do a drag show this weekend?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not a drag queen. I just wanted Fluttershy nails, and I wanted Flutter shampoo will feel good." But I am in an environment where I can get away with that. My husband works at a law firm. He can't wear nail polish to work.
I could.
But it's a different expectation.
It
If you go
is.
to a courtroom.
Client courtroom comes in and it's like, well, yeah, a little strange.
So just because you can't share, certain aspects, it
Doesn't mean you're not proud. I
It
guess.
doesn't mean you're not proud. It's not
Yeah.
less than, and you're doing it in a way that's safe. There's still parts in my life where I can't go out like this, and I don't feel comfortable. And you talk about growing up in Utah, Chickasha, Oklahoma, Southern Baptist. I got my
Yeah.
garments. I cannot live life without an undershirt because I was raised, all good little boys wear undershirts, all good little boys sleep with their arms above the covers, all good little boys sleep, wear underwear without a fly, and that shame lasts a lifetime.
It's hard. It's super hard to, when you've been raised and taught your whole life something, and you find out that you just don't make that cut. It's really difficult to take a step back and say, so who was wrong? Because the ones I care for the most in the world say I'm wrong, but I don't feel wrong. And she is such a blessing for that, because she kind of helps to guide me, and her coming out and her family, and it's just so accepting and so open.
Oh yeah, that's a major difference. I was not raised religious, or I was, but then it's a mess. But yeah, but like when I came out, I came out before the fandom. I came out when I was in college, and I actually had pretty much a mental breakdown because I wasn't sure that my father was going to accept it, because by that point I wasn't talking to my mother. I only had my dad left, and I was living with him, and I was freaking out so bad, and I literally checked myself into a mental institution for a week because of how upset. I was 20 and I was in college. Spring break. I spent spring break in the mental institution. That's pretty much what happened.
You
And
say it was a spa retreat.
it was a spa. That's what I did. But I went in because I didn't want to, hurt myself because of how bad everything was. And then he came for a visit, and I told him, because the therapist was like, "You need to tell him." And I'm like, "Okay, fine." So I did it. I was in tears, and he said, "Oh, I know." And I just
Always know.
I just sat there, and he was like, "I've known since you were 5."
Right?